Listen, given what happened to the woman in Minnesota and everything else thus far, if you think this country is in a better place now than it was when Obama was president, and if you think Trump is a better president than Obama, you are an absolute idiot, racist, and an evil human being. And even though I know it would go against the Constitution, I hope that Trump tries to go for a third term. Because that means if he can, so can Obama. Since Trump's second presidency, we have seen the empire strikes back. If Obama goes for a third term and wins, Return of the Jedi.
Aries Spears sparked controversy among MAGA supporters after reacting to the shooting of Renee Good, a white woman in Minnesota reportedly involved with an ICE watch group. Spears criticized Trump's long-used Make America Great Again slogan, pointing out its role in policy decisions since 2012, and expressed frustration following the incident in Minneapolis. Video footage shows Good attempting to flee ICE agents as several cars drive away, with an officer reportedly shooting her multiple times in the head while claiming he feared for his life, a statement now widely questioned. Spears' post, which included a caption noting both lost and gained followers and a nod to Obama 2028, further fueled backlash. Supporters criticized him for praising Obama over Trump, with comments ranging from unfollows to accusations that Obama divided the nation and promoted LGBTQ rights. Spears responded, defending the LGBTQ community's right to protection, despite personally disagreeing with the lifestyle, and continued to engage with critics. As the video circulated, many pointed out inconsistencies in the officer's account, suggesting the trajectory of Good's car contradicted claims of immediate danger, sparking wider debate over law enforcement accountability and political rhetoric.
My take on the Minneapolis ICE shooting, not from the standpoint of a politician or an activist, through the lens of a 30-year career in law enforcement. I'm going to start by stating the obvious. I wasn't there. That said, the more I watch it, the angrier I get. I spent 18 of my 22 years in the FBI as a firearms instructor. One principle we hammered home was simple. Deadly force is never authorized merely to stop a fleeing suspect. If a vehicle is being used as a weapon, that changes the analysis. But nothing in this video supports that. At a minimum, this shooting reflects a failure of training and supervision. The deeper question is whether law enforcement agencies are selecting and properly vetting people with the temperament and judgment required to make irreversible life and death decisions in seconds.
Renee Nicole Good, the 37-year-old woman that ICE agent blew her face off after she had just dropped off her 6-year-old child, is white, and they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that because it's going to fuck with their narrative. And they're purposely not letting you know that it's a white woman whose face they blew off because they don't want you to switch sides. They don't want you to work collectively with the oppressed after realizing you too are being oppressed. Where is all the pro-life extreme right? Where are you guys? Now that you know it's a white woman that they murdered, not a criminal, not a migrant, not a black person, a white American woman got her face blown off with the help of your tax-paying dollars.
I just said it at the end of my last video, but I'm gonna make it his own video just because I feel like it. When the government starts killing white women without consequences, we are in trouble. Tim Walz talking about he gonna send out the National Guard to fight against ICE with violence against his civilians, but there ain't no stopping when they killing white women. We know since the beginning of time as black people, one thing you don't fuck with is white women. And if you think Minnesota, the same Minnesota that went hard for George Floyd, is not gonna go hard for this white woman, you got another thing coming.
Attention ICE. Let me just say something that most people, most journalists will not say. They can't say it. I understand that. Off ICE. All the way off. You are low-life losers. You feel empowered by your dear leader, Donald Trump. You have never had this position of power before. Small person. You are fat losers who just crawled out of a trailer park from some Proud Boy meeting, or if not worse, some other group that could be worse than him. There was no justification for that woman losing her life because You are ticked off because you think that you should be able to just round people off the streets, up off the streets, without any due process, without any training. Any police officer, I believe, who did what that officer did in Minnesota and killed that woman would be in jail right now and would be facing an arraignment and a hearing, and the news would be covering it. But because it's Donald Trump and they are protecting and covering it up, that is not happening. So ICE, you.
You're the propaganda parrot, Aries.
Pot meat kettle. Weren't you just bragging and boasting, endorsing and promoting Saudi Arabia and their government and how wonderful they are? Traitor. You defended their culture while they chop heads off and fund terror with oil money.
America ain't the moral compass.
You ranted. Hyping Sharia law over stars and stripes. You're a sellout. You're ignorant when it comes to politics. And even right versus wrong. You don't have the ability to tell the difference. Trump did more for black people than Obama and Biden ever did combined. Ever. So sit the...
In Minneapolis, ICE's fatal shooting of Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen, poet, mother of three, and community member, has ignited nationwide outrage and fierce political debate. Good was shot and killed on January 7, 2026, by a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent during a large federal immigration operation in South Minneapolis. Video footage shows her in her car as she attempted to leave, and an ICE agent fired multiple shots, fatally striking her, a use of force that local officials and rights advocates have called unjustified and inconsistent with accepted tactics. Federal authorities, including President Trump and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, defended the agent's actions as self-defense, claiming she weaponized her vehicle. But city leaders and eyewitnesses dispute that account and point to video evidence that doesn't clearly show an imminent threat, raising questions about the justification for lethal force. Her death has sparked thousands of protests in Minneapolis and across the country under banners like ICE Out for Good, with critics demanding accountability and an end to aggressive immigration enforcement tactics, while legal and political scrutiny continues as the FBI leads the investigation and state authorities fight for access to evidence.